on YouTube? It's your boy Clams back with another video. Today we do got a little bit different video once again. We're bringing out tier list to you guys. This will be the tier list of the point guards. So we have, just about every point guard here. There's obviously probably going to be some that I did not include that you guys think should be included. So please go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below. That way I can include them for the next video. I do want to let you guys know there will also be, cards that you disagree with me here. You might think Dwayne Wade is probably, a top 5 point guard. Some of you guys might think that, Darius Garland should get some more love. So there will definitely be some disagreements here, and I feel like a lot of you guys are going to disagree with a lot of it, but some of you guys are probably going to agree with most of it too. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Tyler Hero, I do think Tyler Hero is probably about around the C tier. I don't think Tyler Hero is all that great. I think he's kind of just meh, honestly. I'm going to rename this tier meh, because I think kind of C tier is just meh. I think S tier is really just elite tier. So we're going to put elite here, which is kind of going to be my top 10, top 15 point guards in the game. We got 8 here, and then I got good. And then I'm actually going to add a tier below this, and we're going to do trash, because these cards are not going to be playing on anybody's courts, I hope. So let's just get back into it. Kemba Walker is going to be our first trash. Drew Holiday. The thing about Drew Holiday is he's still going to play defense. He's still 6'5", so regardless, he's still decent. Offensively, there's a little bit there's a lack of desire on offensive end, but defensively, he's still good. So I'm gonna put him in the in good tier. John Starks, I think, is also good. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's elite. I don't think he's meh. I think John Starks is good. I think he can compete. Derek White is gonna be a meh. He's very comparable to Drew Holiday, just not necessarily as good. His defense is very elite, but the thing about Derek White is he has no stamina, so I know it's kind of a weird thing, but he really doesn't have any stamina, so it's kind of a weird, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Jamal Murray, unfortunately, is not good. He's going to go C tier. I'm a big fan of this Bub Carrington. I think Bub Carrington is an A tier card. I think Bub Carrington really does anything. Yeah, I think he does everything well, honestly. So Bub Carrington will go into A tier for me. Cason Wallace, I'm a big fan of Cason Wallace IRL. Unfortunately, he is a 6'3" point guard in the game. 6'3" point guards aren't going to be great. He is great defensively, but other than defensive, he doesn't really provide much. So I'm going to go meh for him. Reed Shepherd, I think Reed Shepherd is good. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's meh. I think Reed Shepherd is probably just a little bit higher than somebody like Tyler Hero. I think he's better on the offensive end, but also a little bit better defensively. So overall, I think he's just a little bit better than Tyler Hero. The problem is Tyler Hero is 6'5". Alex Caruso's up next. Alex Caruso is also still pretty good. Obviously, he's not going to fit into A tier. He's not going to fit into anything above just the B or the good tier. I think he's just kind of like a good defensive point guard. He is 6'4", maybe even 6'5". So he's a taller point guard. Provides a lot, and I think he's just a good. He's got a good jump shot. Jordan Clarkson is another good tier. I think Jordan Clarkson just for 95, he has got 95 plus rebounding, which is very odd for a Jordan Clarkson card. But I think Jordan Clarkson is really good. This card, in salary cap is one of the best. So I think Jordan Clarkson's elite. Looking at Tyrese Maxey, I think Tyrese Maxey is probably going to go to D tier. I don't think Tyrese Maxey is really good at all. It's unfortunate, but just being a super small guard, there's not much that Tyrese Maxey could do. He's just not great. Keon Ellis is absolutely elite. I'm gonna go A tier for Keon Ellis. I think he's just he's not elite just because there's a little bit of things that the card is missing. He's got an absolute great jump shot. He can move and he plays defense. Problem is he's 6'3" and he doesn't come with the badges that some of these other cards come with. But I do think Keon Ellis is absolutely fantastic. Scoot Henderson's kind of a weird card, honestly. I would probably go meh. I would probably go meh with Scoot Henderson. I don't think he's fantastic. I don't think he's bad. It's just kind of, he's just kind of Scoot Henderson. Max Christie, I'm gonna go D. I'm gonna go meh for Max Christie. I don't think Max Christie is that great. He's good offensively, not so great defensively. I'm just not that big of a fan of Max Christie. Nikola Topic. He's a 6'6" point guard. I don't think he really provides much other than his height. He's supposed to be an offensive point guard. I don't think he provides much offense because his jumper is pretty bad. He's not really the best movement. He's not a bad movement card. Um, I think this card is just meh. I don't think he's good. Don't think he's bad. Victor Oladipo. I'm actually gonna move Topic down to D tier. I'm gonna move Victor into meh. I'm gonna move Kobe White into D tier. I think Kobe White is pretty terrible at this point in the game. When Kobe White released, I think he was fantastic. You know, good offensive point guard. Can't play a lick of defense. Um, but I mean, I think I think you could get away with Victor at this point. I don't think you can get away with Kobe White, and Topic might as well be met too. I think you can definitely get away with Topic. Dyson Daniels, we're gonna go ahead and put Dyson Daniels into the A tier. I absolutely love Dyson Daniels, and he's probably gonna be number one in this tier. And then I'll move Keon Ellis into a little bit above Bub Carrington. I like both of these cards a little bit more than Bub, but I do think both of them, I think all three of them are absolutely elite. Dyson Daniels is just a 6'7" point guard. He's absolutely great on defense. He's very long, so I think Dyson Daniels is absolutely elite. Tyreke Evans is a 6'6" point guard, great on defense. Doesn't really provide anything on the offensive end because his jumper's a little bit baited and slow. I think Tyreke is meh. Um, like I said, if he had a better jump shot, if he had a little bit better offense, I think he would be into the good tier. I just don't think he's quite that. Marcus Smart is quite that. Marcus Smart is into the A tier. He's got a good jumper. He's got great defense. Marcus Smart is him. I love Marcus Smart, and Booker is the same thing. Booker is absolutely elite on the offensive end. When I'm talking about Booker, I'm talking about he's top 5 or 10 in the offensive end, but on the defensive end, he's just a little bit outdated. He doesn't come with the badges that some of the other top end point guards come with. I just think Booker could be improved, and he's desperate for a new card. But Booker is definitely still very viable at this point in the game. De'Aaron Fox is gonna go to Met tier or to D tier. I don't think De'Aaron is good at by any means. I think De'Aaron lacks in a lot of things. I don't really think he's great in offense. I don't think he's a great defensive player. He's 6'3", and at this point in the game, I don't think he's great. LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is kind of an interesting card because his jumper's fine, movement-wise he's fine. Defensively he's not good, but he is 6'7", maybe 6'6". So I do like a lot of the things that LaMelo provides on the offensive end. On the defensive end, I don't like really anything. I'm gonna go good tier. I don't think he's anything like Booker, but I do think that he can provide a little bit, especially on the offensive end. I'm gonna go kind of like this. I think this is kind of similar to my order. I would put kind of like this. This would be my order for good tier so far. I think Marcus Smart is probably just a little bit better than Drew. Devin Booker is still up there. And then I kind of want to take down LaMelo a little bit. Jordan Clarkson and Reed Shepard are probably both a little bit slightly better than him, especially on the offensive end. This Cade Cunningham is absolutely, still very viable. I think Cade Cunningham is absolutely elite. And I think, if you're looking for a point guard, I think Cade Cunningham is still, one of the better one you can get. Obviously, he's not as good as, we'll see, the Opal one down here. But I do think he is very runnable. He's still going to be a 6'6" or 6'7" point guard with great offense. His defense is fine because of his length. I think Cade Cunningham is absolutely still very viable on the offensive end. Pete Maravich is D tier. Pete Maravich is not good by any means. If you're running Pete Maravich, I don't know what to tell you because his jumper simply just isn't runnable. I wish Pete Maravich had a good card because could you imagine a Pistol Pete card in my team? I mean, I would love it, but Pistol Pete is just not very good. Zach LaVine. This is going to surprise a lot of you guys, but Zach LaVine is going to be our first elite tier. It doesn't matter what Zach LaVine it is. It could be a 94 overall. It could be 96 overall. It could be the 98 overall down here. Zach LaVine is absolutely elite. Everything about him is jump shot is elite. He's a great slasher. He can play a little bit of defense. I think Zach LaVine is absolutely elite. And the difference between that card and this card is very minimal. They're pretty much the same card. Of course, I'm going to go this Zach LaVine over that Zach LaVine, but I do think they are both very, very, very elite, and I think they both compete at the highest level. Stephon Castle is our next card, and I think Stephon Castle is going right into that tier as well. I think he's a little bit better than Pink Diamond LaVine. I don't think he's as good as the Opal LaVine, but Stephon Castle is 6'7", defensive-minded point guard. Does just about everything you want on the defensive end. Offensively, he doesn't really do much, but he does have a pretty good jump shot, so if you're wide open, you're definitely going to knock it down with Stephon Castle. Like I said, I think he's better than Pink Diamond LaVine. Don't think he's necessarily as great as the Opal LaVine. Deron Williams is trash. Get him off my court. I don't like Deron Williams, and he'll never see anybody's court, I hope. I'm going to take D-Mitch into good. I think D-Mitch is probably, one of the better good tier point guards in the game. I think he's pretty much the same as Booker. He might be, just a little bit better, but they're pretty much comparable. Like I said, these Booker and Mitchell are comparable, and Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday are comparable. You can kind of interchange these four around, but I do think they are probably the best in that tier. I'm not really a fan of LaMelo, and John Starks not really that too much of a fan of, but I know people love that card. Moving on, we got Sidney Moncrief. I'm actually a big fan of Sidney Moncrief. He's a 6'4" guard. He does just about everything good on the defensive end. He's got an elite jump shot. He's 6'4". Like I said, I think Sidney Moncrief is honestly a very good point guard. I'm taking him both over Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday. Yeah, I don't think he quite reaches this tier. I'm probably taking Keon Ellis over Sidney Moncrief. As much as I hate to say it, I probably am. And I think Sidney Moncrief is absolutely elite, but it's been a while since I've used that card, and honestly, I'd have to use him again to kind of rate him higher. But I do think Keon Ellis and Sidney Moncrief are very comparable. But at this point, Keon Ellis' jumper is just a little bit better, so we'll kind of have to see. Allen Iverson, he's either going to be trash or D tier. For me, I don't know. I think he's probably D tier. I don't think he's the level of Deron Williams because Allen Iverson at least has a jump shot, and Allen Iverson has elite defense. I He can't play. I think that card is absolutely terrible. But I do think I don't think he's on the level of Deron Williams. John Wall, John Wall, do the Dougie. I think John Wall is probably in about that good tier as well. I don't think he's on the level of these guys at all, but I do think he's just probably about this level as well. I've actually never used this card, John Wall, so I couldn't really tell you about how good John Wall is. But I probably would say he's probably about the level of Donovan Mitchell and Book offensively. Defensively, he's probably pretty good too, but he's just a little bit undersized, I feel like. So I would probably put John Wall at good, but I don't know if he's necessarily one of the top point guards in the game. Jerry West is going to probably fall into either D tier or meh. Like I said, a lot of these guys in meh or below aren't really going to be your starting point guards. I don't think they're really going to be that good. Jerry West can probably compete over a lot of these guys, a lot of these D tier guys. So I would probably put him either first or into the very bottom of meh. But I just don't think that he's that good. Moving on is John Stockton. I'm putting this card on trash, but I think he's a little bit better than both of these cards. I think he's better than I think he's better than Kemba, and I think he's better than Deron Williams by far. You could argue him into D tier and upward here somewhere. I just don't think John Stockton really does anything offensively. Defensively, he's absolutely elite, but offensively, what does he do? Nothing. Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd's an interesting one just because he's a decent card, but he's got, from what I've heard, he has a terrible, terrible layup package that gets blocked a lot. So I'm going to put Jason Kidd in meh. I think Jason Kidd's fine, but not great. And I just, like I said, I think he's kind of just meh. Penny Hardaway is going to A tier. I think Penny Hardaway is pretty good. I would rate Cade Cunningham, then Dyson Daniels, or I would go Penny Hardaway, then Dyson, then Keon, and then Carrington. That's how I would rate the A tier so far. I think Cade Cunningham is the best in that tier. I think Penny is a great 6'7" defensive point guard. He's got a decent jump shot. He can't really do too much shot creation though, but he will be there for a defensive. If you run somebody like Jay Rich or Dr. J, I think Penny Hardaway is perfect point guard to kind of pair with them. He's not necessarily on the level of Magic Johnson or anything like that, but he is a great defensive point guard. Steph Curry, as shout out DJ Bright. I'm a DJ, you my guy, but I don't know if I could put Steph Curry in good. I think he's kind of just a meh card. He's a 6'3" shot creator. He's got a pretty terrible step back. I'm not a fan of his drag back by any means. His shot is good. It's Steph Curry. You're getting exactly what you think. He's actually surprisingly a pretty good defensive card. I'll show you guys, but Steph Curry is actually a pretty good defensive card for some reason. I just don't think that Steph Curry really is that great. He's missing some defensive badges, missing a lot of finishing badges. I don't think Steph Curry is really that great at 6'3". He can't really dunk or rebound or anything like that. But like I do think Steph Curry is a little bit better than a lot of these guys. But I don't think Steph Curry is the greatest in the world. I think he's probably the best in this meh tier though. Baron Davis. I actually know nothing about Baron Davis, so I can rate this card completely wrong, and you guys can clown me in the comment section below because I really know nothing about Baron Davis. And just because I know nothing about Baron Davis, I'm going to put him in meh. Like I said, I think he's probably pretty. If I had to just go off of, like what I instincts and what I would think, I would assume he's probably pretty comparable to Jason Kidd. But I really know nothing about that card. And I don't even see him on the I don't even see him on 2K Let's go Baron. Here we go, Baron Davis. He's lacking a little bit of defense, but nothing too crazy. He's honestly, this card isn't that bad at all. He's 6'3", no hot zones. I don't think this card's that bad with Damian Lillard, Giannis Escape. I will move this card up a little bit higher in meh, but I don't think I can really give him anything too crazy unless I was the user see the card. And I have honestly never saw this card once in my life, so I will put Baron Davis in the top of meh, but I don't really know anything about him. I think Russell Westbrook will probably go somewhere around here in the Mets here as well. Probably around Curry and Baron Davis as well. I don't think Russell Westbrook is too good, but I do think he can at least play. I think he plays a little bit more than like somebody like Max Christie, Victor, Tyreek, Topic, and Kidd. I think he's at least plays. I just don't think he's really on the tier of Sidney, Smart, Drew, Book, and John Wall. I don't think he's really on the level of any of these guys. If I had to, I would probably move LaMelo down, maybe Reed Shepard down as well. But a lot of these guys, I would probably take over a lot of these guys too. Oscar Robertson, I'm going to put Oscar Robertson in A tier. I don't think Oscar Robertson is the best point guard in the game by any means, but I do think he's pretty comparable to, Penny Hardaway and, stuff like that. I would probably take this Cade Cunningham over him as well. Dyson Daniels is extremely good, but I would probably take Oscar Robertson over Dyson Daniels. Just going to be a tall point guard with a great jump shot, great defensively. Damian Lillard, I'm going to put him in meh tier. I don't think Damian Lillard is really that good, and I don't think he really provides that much for you. Damian Lillard's always just going to be kind of a shot creating point guard that doesn't really do that really well, honestly. He's got fine defense, but he's undersized. Trae Young is going to go into D tier. I don't think Trae Young is going to provide anything for you. Same with Garland and same with Isaiah Thomas. Get them out of the way quick and go ahead and move them off my screen. I don't like any of those point guards. They're not going to be able to do anything for you. They're all 6'1". And moving on to Cade Cunningham. This card is going to S tier. This card is better than Castle. This card is better than Levine. Is he better than this Levine? I don't know. It's kind of up to you guys for preference. I would, they're very comparable. They both don't have a great fadeaway. They both have an elite jump shot. One is 6'7", one is 6'6". It's up to you. Honestly, I can't tell you who to go with, who not to go with. I'm going to put Tyler Hero kind of in like the back of good. I'd probably move him up here a little bit. Somewhere around this Donovan Mitchell, John Wall area, Jordan Clarkson, somewhere around there. And then James Harden, I will also put into the back of A tier. I think James Harden is good. I don't think James Harden is an absolutely elite point guard, but I do think James Harden is good. Steph Curry. Steph Curry is definitely going to go into good tier, somewhere around this Donovan Mitchell. I would put him right there around Donovan Mitchell and John Wall, maybe. Can even go backwards a little bit, but I do think that card is a little bit better than the other Steph Curry, and I think he is at least usable. This Kyrie, I'm not too high on. I'm gonna go meh. I'm gonna go right around Damian Lillard. I don't think he's a level of. I don't really think that he can compete, honestly. And I kind of think he's like the level of like Damian Lillard, honestly. Like I said, a couple other guys as well. D'Lo, shout out my guy Cam. This is one of his favorite cards in the game. I'm gonna go with good tier. I think he's better than John Starks, obviously. I would probably rank him somewhere about this. I would probably rank him and Tyler Hero just probably around the same area. He definitely fits in with this good tier, but I don't think he's really anything above that. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring Reed Shepard and LaMelo Ball down. I don't think they're that great, honestly. And I would take every single one of these point guards in here over Reed Shepard and LaMelo Ball probably. I do think Reed Shepard is not that bad, so I might move Reed Shepard up to the very back. But I don't think I would really necessarily take him over a lot of the point guards. But like I said, I don't think he's that bad. John Morant. John Morant is somewhere that I think he could easily go in maybe into A tier, but I do think he's B tier. I think he's probably up here somewhere with these guys. I'm gonna move him into right here. I don't really know too much about John Morant, but John Morant's always really good defensively. He's a little bit undersized, which is the only problem about him. His jumper's always elite, so I can't really rank anything too much about John Morant, but I do think John Morant's decent. We're moving on to our Dark Matters here, and our Dark Matters are gonna get absolutely elite, so stay tuned. These are gonna get pretty crazy. I do think D Wade. Let's start with D Wade. I think D Wade is pretty much A tier. I would probably rank him a little bit less than this Cade Cunningham. I think he's probably just about the same tier as Oscar and Penny. But honestly, for personal preference, I would probably take Dyson, Keon, Penny, and a lot of these guys, honestly, over Dwayne Wade. However, I would take Dwayne Wade over Bob Carrington and James Harden. But the rest of them, I would probably take over Dwayne Wade. I don't think that and that's just personal preference. I think Dwayne Wade is actually very, I think he can compete. He provides a lot defensively. Offensively, he just doesn't really do too much because his jumper's very baited. But he's not bad. Jalen Green is going to go into the very back of S tier, or my elite tier. I think Jalen Green is an absolutely elite offensive, point guard. I think he can score on pretty much anybody. You look at, his offense is absolutely elite. His defense is just kind of mid, and he's missing a lot of badges defensively. But you look at his animations. He's got Jalen Green on very quick. He's got a lot of his own dribble stigs, which could be pretty bad, but his his step back is pretty good, and he doesn't have the greatest six of all time. But like I said, I do think Jalen Green can score. And ultimately, he's probably either A tier or he's probably a little bit, he's either A tier or S tier. I'm gonna go A tier with him, but I do think Jalen Green could probably move up to the back of S tier. James Harden is definitely gonna go to S tier. I would probably rank him somewhere like this. I think Cade Cunningham and Levine are definitely better. Personal preference, I would rock Castle over Harden, but I do think Harden is better. So I'm gonna go like this. Now we have Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is kind of like I'm kind of bipolar with Austin Reeves because I don't know how much I like him compared to other cards. Personally, I would probably rank him above all these cards, but I don't know how you guys feel about Austin Reeves. I think Austin Reeves is great offensively. Defensively, he definitely competes. It's not like he's going to give up free layups every single possession. I think Austin Reeves as a 6'5" point guard is pretty good. He's got a great jump shot. He can move. He's got a great behind the back. He's not going to give up free layups just every single time. I think he's probably better than this Levine and Cade Cunningham, but it is personal preference ultimately with all these S tier guys. Brunson is going to go into the either bottom of A tier or into the very top of good tier. I think he's just too small to really move up, higher than that. We're going to go into Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I think he's better than Austin Reeves. I think he's better than everyone in this tier. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a 6'6" point guard. Is absolutely elite. You can't really get too much better with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Moving on to Gary Payton. I'm going to go over Shai. I think Gary Payton is better than Shai. I think Gary Payton is better than everybody on this tier list so far. And Gary Payton is just an absolutely elite point guard. There's not much that, Gary Payton doesn't have. He's a 6'4" point guard. He's got an elite fade, elite jumper, and elite offense. Nothing more that he can do. Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is going to go into A tier, just above Jalen Green. I think Donovan Mitchell is absolutely elite. However, I'm taking everybody in S tier over him. I think Donovan Mitchell, preference-wise, could be better than Castle, Levine, and Harden. However, for me, I think he's just a little bit too small. But I could see if you have Donovan Mitchell in S tier, and I'm not gonna hate. Magic Johnson is going to be a point guard in the elite tier, and to be honest, this is how I would rank my tiers. I would think Magic Johnson is 1. Magic Johnson can do everything. He's got a great jump shot this year. For some reason, it's actually a really good jump shot. He's 6'9", I think. He's 6'9", so he can play defense with the best of the best. He can literally do everything. He's got his Magic Johnson dribble style, which is really good. I don't think there's a thing that Magic Johnson cannot do. Of course, he's an elite post scorer. I would say Magic, then Gary Payton, then Shai. Then I would probably, these two can switch, but I would probably go AR over Levine, and then I would go Levine, Cade, Harden, Castle, and Levine again. I think those are probably my top 10 point guards. And then obviously these 8 tiers are all very, very solid as well. I think Donovan Mitchell is probably one of the better in this tier. If some of you guys are going to like Dwayne Wade a lot more than I like Dwayne Wade personally, I'm not a fan of Dwayne Wade at all, but if some of you guys are going to like him a lot, I just personally would take a lot of these guys in A tier over him. And then going on down to the lower tiers, a lot of you guys will, might hate on the Steph Curry and meh. A lot of you guys might say, oh, LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo Ball's got a great jumper, and I think he's an A tier. Well, I'm sorry I disagree with you, and maybe I could try out LaMelo Ball, and maybe he'll move up for me. But at this point in time, I think this is honestly how I would rate everything. If you guys did enjoy the video, and you guys agree with me on the most part, or even if you disagree, let me go ahead and, let me know in the comment sections what you could agree and disagree on. But if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.